Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, international cricket fans, that the World Cup final is going to be against the two most evil teams in your eyes, India and Australia. I'm sorry, South Africa. We actually don't really have much of an audience in South Africa, do we? So, fuck them. I'm sorry that you've had a wonderful tournament, but it gets to the big boy stuff and the big boys do the big boy gear, Australia turns up. It was so recent, Pez, that we were going to pack it all in and we were going to hammer the boys. We were going to hammer them. And then they've won 8 in a row, get themselves in the World Cup final. Unfortunately for us, that means that it's our team that's going to get absolutely blitzed in the final. So we have to go through that. But, wowee, a World Cup final, eh? I'm out of bed for it. Are you out of bed for it?
Well, as you were talking, I was literally rubbing sleep from my eye, which I think has been Australia's World Cup. Yeah, we out. Yeah, I could eat.
Is there a World Cup on?
It was, much to the chagrin of our friends overseas. I looked at the Cricinfo match report this morning. Its first line was yawn. Australia's into another final. Yawn indeed, brother.
Yeah.
We're all yawning here.
That's right.
Like another winning performance executed through pure chest psychology and low-key ticker that this team doesn't get enough credit for under Captain Cummins because of his climate change principles.
Solar panel Pat.
But here we are. Australia can now be the lambs to the slaughter.
Yes.
Christian the lions, whatever.
Woo!
But it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be fun in front of Narendra Modi.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine a world where Australia will win.
How is that going to be allowed?
How's that going to be? Don't say that. Don't say that.
Okay,
That's all right.
The Great Cricket is brought to you by Cricket.com. You can download the Cricket.com app from the App Store. Everything you've ever needed in your life, and perhaps even the next couple after this
food,
one.
Shelter.
You can get it from the Cricket.com app. You can get food and shelter from the Cricket.com app. Some results may vary, including food and shelter. But we thank Cricket.com for supporting TGC. First thing, Pezza, of the three things today, they're nervous. We're calm.
Here you had a game where one team had beaten the other team 15 out of the last 18 times.
Good luck to you.
But if you turned on the pre-show in Australia and listened to Brad Haddon, that was South Africa's problem.
Yeah, get him, Hats.
Psychology! It showed. Yeah, Brad Haddon was exploiting every psychological advantage, and the entire country knew that as well. And in fact, I'm going to add South Africa into that as well. South Africa wins 15 out of the last 18 games.
Fucking hell.
They play objectively higher ceiling cricket than Australia.
They match up well to Australia.
They match up well to us. They win the toss with their very important template blueprint cricket. And Haddon's correct when he says that's their problem.
That's their problem.
They win the toss, that's their problem because there's some overheads. And he's completely correct. He's completely correct.
Yeah.
Through the TV, Kolkata looked like you were watching it through sepia.
Yep.
There was that much overcast conditions. All of a sudden, Stark can play cricket again.
Yeah.
Now, let me get this right. Hazelwood extracted better zip than 90210 off this deck.
Now we're talking.
Hazelwood owned more channel than Murdoch did before cross-media ownership. Ian Bishop is cooing over Hazelwood.
I love the king.
All of a sudden, it's 4 for 20, 4 for spit.
4 for spit.
And it's happening again.
South Africa are in the shit.
Look at that. Stark's back when it's time for big boys with big chests.
The big boys are in.
Warner, Maxwell, Labuskakny prowling the ring.
Yeah.
Australia was under 12 reps after the coach had promised Maccas in the ring. Bavuma scratches us off. De Kock takes the gas. Rassie can't get one off the square. Old Golden Balls takes a great catch. Celebrating before he hits the deck.
Yes.
More than Edgbaston. Zampa comes on, gets taken down, really.
Yeah.
But then Golden Balls takes him off. Then Heady comes on.
Yeah. The bin lid.
Ponting calls it. Yeah. Looks a genius. I think Ponting's just seen Head warm up. But nevertheless.
Yeah.
And
put that spinning finger on ice, bin lid.
Exactly.
Get it on the ice.
Klaasen and Miller looking pretty good, but old bin lid comes on. Bang, bang, fours off Heady. Bowls a neuter nut than Johnny Sins. Klaasen plays for turn. A lot of people interpret Heady's wave as sending him off. I call it more ironic nonchalance. Yeah. He's like, that's just what I do. Yeah. That had nothing to do with Klaasen. He's just like, man, it's just Heady. Here's what I'm doing.
Here's one for the kids. Alan Shearer wheeling away at St James's Park.
It was right. It was a limp-wristed Shearer.
Yes.
That's what I call that.
Yes.
Slash another guy from the 30s. And that was the turning point. Once Klaasen went, you can only ever go a couple of weeks
before
a reference.
That's true.
Yeah, it was all too easy for Heady. So Klaassen getting knocked over was really the turning point. If South Africa make 30 or 40 more runs, Australia might struggle, but they didn't make those runs because of South Africa stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So just going through the bowling figures, Stark finished 3 for 34, Hazelwood 2 for 12 off 8.
Besties bowled. Those quicks, and they've obviously been listening to TGC because the call was issued for the quicks to step up.
Yep.
Now, I reckon the quicks are there going like, it's been nice to get a deck to bowl on. Yep. It's nice to have a deck, and they exploited it fully.
Cummins 3 for 51 off 9.4, and then the bid lid Travis Head 2 for 21 off 5 overs.
Maxi went for 30 off 10 as well.
Yeah, 35 off 10. Zampa 55 off 7. Zampa went for 6 sixes and a 4. So 40 of his 55 runs in 70 overs came off 7 balls. Yeah. So it was it was just a little bit of tennis bally bounce. You know what I'm saying? It's a little
Miller
hard to score.
Miller 100 losing side, fantastic. We'll talk about him. But
good luck to him.
Good luck to him and his family. But he was just step hitting Zampa at will.
That's right. So it was 4 for 24 after 11.5 overs. Then Klaassen, as you said earlier, and Miller put on whatever amount of runs that is, nearly 195 runs to make it 5 for 119 when Klaassen was out. Then the bin lid Travis Head went bang bang. So then when Janssen was out next ball, it was 6 for 119.
Turning point.
Yeah, but. South Africa did get themselves through to 212 thanks to Miller, which we'll talk about in a second. But just in the batting innings, so then in the batting innings, Australia raced out to a great start, 60 off 6 overs. There was an over there off Rabada. In fact, the 6th over off Rabada went for 20. There was a no ball, there was a free hit in there. I think there was 3 sixes in the over from Warner, and then the bin lid Travis Head again. Travis Head 62 off 48, 9 fours and 2 sixes. He was actually player of the match with his 2 for and 62, pretty good. But Warner 29 as well. Mitch Marsh was out first, not first ball, but he was out for 0. And then it got a little bit hairy in the run chase.
Didn't it?
It was number 60, then it was 2 for 61 when Marsh was out, 3 for 106 when the bin lid Travis Head was out, and then Marnus and Smith batting together, and all of a sudden looked very, very difficult with Maharaj darting at the stumps and just getting enough turn.
You know what they say, if it seems, then you'll get a little bit of wobble. But it spun as well. I thought they held Maharaj back too long. He gets a wicket first ball. Yeah, it got to a point where it was every ball felt like an event. I thought, barring Maxwell, who does what he does, it's, snakes and ladders with Maxi.
Sort of got bowled by a half tracker from Shamsi.
You want to talk about this? Yeah.
Not really, no. I mean, okay.
As in outfit he is, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's too late now. We're going to talk about it. So Shamsi bowls a half tracker and he bowls Maxwell and then goes on an absolute tear around the stadium, as is his wont. To that point, it then made it 5 for 137. Australia chasing 212. So the game, it was a big wicket.
It's the most South Africa's in it. 5 for 130, chasing 213.
100%. Now, I'm just getting crow's feet deluxe when players, and they're often South African. Imran Tahir used to do this. Gerald Coetzee, who's had a great tournament and bowled really well in this game as well, set Steve Smith up brilliantly before he played an absolutely terrible shot, Steve Smith, to get out, and he was livid with himself after getting 30 off 62. But you see this as well, and then you see Shamsi, who's got form for just doing these ridiculous celebrations, which of course bring fans and engagement to the game and the sport generally speaking.
Through the gates.
We love that. It brings people through the gates. I hope Shamsi gets a wicket today.
I'm sitting there on Ticketek going, should I come to this game or not? Hey, Shamsi playing, you might do one of those wheelaways.
Yeah. Now, it gets a bit how you going for me. It's giving me crow's feet deluxe when he's sprinting away and no one's chasing him. Yeah. Now, look, he's just trying to get the boys up and about. Yeah. But is he making it all about himself? I'm just not convinced by these celebrations. That's all I'm saying. Now, look, I can say this because history is written by historians, is the old saying. And luckily for me, I am a historian, less so a winner. But like, look, it's a big moment of the game. He gets a big wicket. Maxwell, we obviously know what he did last time he played. But I'm just like, I can barely see out through my pupils. My crow's feet are folding into my face so hard.
You look like Robert De Niro, actually, at the moment. Sort of senile De Niro. Yeah, that's... I suppose he was very good at crow's feet, De Niro, wasn't he?
Very good at crow's feet, yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
It was a big moment in the match, but yeah, you're never sure of the internals on that if no one's chasing him. Maybe maybe it's just humid there, and you're getting getting a bit hot. Maybe he's just trying to play a game of tip or tiggy or tag or whatever you call it internationally.
I'm just saying, if I'm playing in a game of third grade, as it was often my want, and someone starts wheeling away in a big moment in the game and they start running away, I'm chasing them for a bit, but if they keep sprinting, I'm just going to stop chasing them.
Well, he's got to complete the act then, Shams. He's got to go into the crowd and crowd surf around the stadium once at least.
I'm into that.
That's right. At least if you're going to complete the joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the
closest. The cricket police. Wee.
I thought Marnus Smith hung in there well because every ball was becoming an event. And then Josh Inglis played low-key, deeply important innings for Australia and showed the most skill against these spinners to get it to where he did.
28 of 49 for Inglis.
Yeah, that was a really important innings before Stark and Cummins nervelessly negotiated the rest of it. Again, they could have, and they did it patiently.
Yep.
So, and Australia progress.
Cummins with the bat in this year alone, so obviously for Australians and Australian fans, Edgbaston, the first test match of the Ashes, Cummins was pivotal in that innings, batting with Nathan Lyon to secure the first test win, chasing 280 or something in the first test against England. Then obviously bats long with Maxwell against Afghanistan, where Maxwell hits 200 and Cummins hits 12 off 70 or something like that. And then in this game, hits 14 off 29 right at the end to secure. I'm not sure it's a famous semi-final victory. It's kind of expected when you play against South Africa. Is that arrogant? 100% it is. And that's the reason why Australia makes World Cup finals, because of the arrogance. So here we are.
Cummins. When are we going to, like, looking at the way the guys were fielding overnight, just occurred to me, you can't get that kind of energy in a side and that level of focus that Australia brought. They brought something more to the game today.
This was their first team performance, I thought.
That's right. Yeah. They brought something more to the game. It's peaking at the right time for Australia and calling upon all of the output that they can muster.
Yep.
You just can't get something like that on a long tour of India after a hectic year without the team being in great support of the captain and the leader being someone that everybody respects and is able to bind them together. The guy is still hugely unders for respect in Australia for what he's actually managed to do. I know we're going to talk about this in the third thing, but it doesn't surprise me at all that, like, whenever the team needs him with ball or bat, he always steps up. Sometimes they don't need him, like they did overnight with the ball, because Hoff and Stark had done the trick, and he gets pumped. But invariably, he steps up under pressure, which is a sign of a great character. And again, he's led the team excellently, though you'll never convince some people.
Mate, I 100% agree. Steve Smith should be captain. It's time for Cricket.com's Stat Dog.
Here we go. Hey, they came through Cricket.com last night.
Yeah.
Quite a few
stats. Came on last night.
We're going to do our segment. What does this mean for India?
Yeah.
My record is GOAT, man.
Cricket.com.
Keeps going, doesn't it?
It's a good little boy.
No bowler has dismissed Quinton de Kock more times in ODIs than Josh Hazlewood, 8. Hazlewood versus de Kock in ODIs, 15 innings, 8 dismissals, averaging 15.8 with a strike rate of 72. 52 balls. This is the longest any side has taken in this World Cup to score their first boundary, that obviously being South Africa. Only 2 teams in this World Cup have conceded 1 or fewer boundaries in the power play in a match. India against Sri Lanka at the Wankhede and Australia against South Africa overnight in Kolkata. The lowest first 10 overs score for South Africa in ODIs, batting first. This was their second lowest first 10 over score for South Africa. 18 for 2 after 10 overs. For the first time in his 120 match ODI career, Mitchell Stark has bowled 7 overs on the trot. Hence the nipping and rod tuckering. Fucked it. Of the deck. What are we looking at? Most sixes conceded by an Aussie bowler in a World Cup innings. Adam Zampa in this game. So there you go. There's another record for Zorba. Miller is a rescuer. In ODIs as number 5 or lower batter, David Miller has come into bat at a score of 100 or less in 20 innings while batting first. He has scored 1,084 runs at a staggering average of 72.4 and a strike rate of 95 in those 20 innings. 550s, 400s. David Miller's centuries in World Cups, 138 red against Zimbabwe, came in to bat at number 5 at the score of 67. So they were 3 for 67 when they came in the 17th over. 101 last night against Australia, came in to bat at number 6 at the score of 24 in the 12th over. The lowest entry total for a number 5 or lower batter to score a century. Kapil Dev is number 1 before he scored his famous 175. Jay Wardner did it in 2015 in Dunedin against Afghanistan, scored 100. And then David Miller, the third on that list, 101 with a score at 4 for 24 coming in against Australia in Kolkata overnight. So to that end, Pez, the second thing, fuck me, David Miller was outstanding last night. He was good, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's what was needed. He did make it look much easier than his mates while batting. He took down Zampa at will. It was one of those things where he seemed to be able to find a 6 or a boundary or both in every over that he was batting. He's like, particularly having bowled leg spin before, any right arm leg spinner will tell you like a strong nuggety left-hander is like fucking kryptonite.
Right.
So he was able to.
It's like how do you get the ball past this thing?
The way them
mass.
turning it or whatever.
Yeah.
Just a great arc.
Like Noah.
As with Noah.
Yeah.
And that all happened. That wasn't a Daily Mail story.
He was 500 years old. 2 of every animal.
Use the Bible, Daily Mail.
Yeah. Termites on the wooden ship.
2 of every one. What about the rest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Climate control for the polar bears.
Yeah.
And also for the lions and zebras.
Wrong shoes, sorry.
Not in those shoes, mate. That's what happened to the dinosaurs. Wearing the wrong shoes. That's why they weren't on Noah's Ark.
What's that belt?
Snake skin.
Hell of an innings. What a player. I don't really know what to say. He saved it. He would have been player of the match had South Africa done the business. But
I think it's reasonable to say he was the player of the match in the game. You know, I know it needs to be from the winning side, and you know I can say this from an arrogance perspective, but he probably did put in the single best performance of the game.
I thought one thing that was interesting about his batting is because he had so many overs to go, when he started batting with the tail, I'm going to say that's from Coetzee, and Maharaj and whatnot, that like there was, I felt there was a Dave Whatnot. I thought there was an opportunity for him to milk the strike, but I understand that because there were so many overs to go, he felt like they needed those runs, but it's more of a compliment to how well he was hitting them. I felt like he would be able to control 6 runs and over for the remainder of the innings and not expose the rest of the guys to the strike.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, they were bowled out, right? Yeah, Maxwell took the last catch, which was also a great catch.
Great catch, yeah. Australia's fielding, I mean, it's funny because in the comments after the game, the Australians suggested that the fielding and the first, the fielding was the difference. And then South Africa said it's the way we batted in the first 10 overs, which was the difference. So it feels like, just generally speaking, that Australia just played a better game of cricket over the course of 100-ish overs, you know?
Well, I do think it was. Like, one thing I think that's been interesting about this tournament is like batting first, like very old school, has become the way you win an ODI match, generally speaking. And I like that that's separate from T20 cricket. And South Africa obviously took that template or blueprint into this game, irrespective of what conditions they were presented with, because they'd had so much success doing that. And I do think it speaks to Australia as a superior cricket side that, like, with the conditions that they were presented, they made the absolute most of them, even with bowlers like Hazelwood and Stark, who had not enjoyed much power play success at all. You know, it was big moments, big guys stepping up with some conditions that favoured them, and they made the absolute most of it.
I think just going back to Miller, I just think he's such a tremendous player. He's obviously won the IPL with Gujarat, being a pivotal player in the middle order there in the IPL. I feel like he was slightly unders in a tournament where like the middle order was having such a great tournament, especially Klaasen and Van der Dussen. But Miller had one other 50 in the World Cup before this, so maybe slightly unders in comparison to his compatriots.
To how good he can be,
right? But then he scores a World Cup 100 in a semi-final. Like, it's fucking, I mean, that's
what his record
quality
should have. Yeah. So that's really satisfying, particularly when he lost and our team won. Just what a player.
What a player. Bravo,
David. I mean, a lot of appreciation for him.
Darryl Mitchell was fantastic that night, wasn't he good?
Fantastic.
Yeah, all the best. Enjoy the flight home. I played 4th grade. What a fuckwit. What an absolute fuckwit I am.
Both friends of the show.
That's
both
true.
Friends of the
That's
show.
true.
But anyway, well done.
Third and final thing of today's show, Australia get another shot at legacy. Now, people might say that in this calendar year, Australia has done things like won a test match in India, the first time anyone's done that in about 10 years. In fact, was it 10 years? No, it says since Australia lasted in 2015 or whatever that was, 17, yeah. Thank you. So winning a test match in India, the Australian team would say in the Border Gavaskar series, that test series, that they were one bad session of sweeping in Delhi away from perhaps doing something grander than losing that series. But that's what happened. Then they won the World Test Championship final in England. They retained the Ashes, if you believe facts, 2-2. So they've now held the Ashes by the time the next one comes around for 10 years. They have played in a World Cup, and they've made the World Cup final in India, all in the space of about 8, 9, 10 months, something, 9 months, call it 9 months. So that to me is absolutely, that's a remarkable year. It's probably, given the expectations of the Australian cricket team, is about right. It's about right. But if they win,
if Cummins doesn't do that, that is win the World Test Championship final, retain the Ashes overseas, and reach the final of the World Cup 2023, he's sacked.
Yes.
But
and
also
be competitive
it's remarkable.
in India.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's a real tightrope.
Yes.
It's a real tightrope.
He'd be at Centrelink right now lining up for a paycheck. Right, and rightfully so.
And rightfully so.
Because he wants solar panels at club grounds. What a flog.
What careful, someone will clip that up and say that that's what we think. That doesn't have much.
Too late.
So what posture does Australia, including us, like as a nation, take into this game? You know, like whatever we say, like you can't win because, you know, like someone will confect you as being somewhere on the extreme of the cry more or suck off spectrum that we've discussed.
Someone's going to be upset.
Yeah, someone's going to be upset. But like, what posture does Australia take here? Like, do we, next couple of days, is it really about trying to get under the skin of the fragility and insecurity that we know exists within Indian cricket's attainments over the last 10 years? Like, do you prey on the fact that despite having all of the resources, all of the control of the game, the biggest population, the highest skilled players per capita, that there's still only one trophy to show for it in 10 years? Do you prey on the fact that the game is happening in front of the emperor of the world?
Injected.
I'm in India.
Injected.
In front of 130,000 or 110 or 80,000, depending on who you're listening to, you know, with Dua Lipa there, with Jay Shah there. Do you prey on the expectations of a 1.4 billion population nation against our population who might be watching Rick Stein, you know, coming out from the side of the old iPad there?
Like how noisy is the away end going to be? At the, you know, I'm not sure where they're sitting just yet, but the away section of fans, they usually all congregate together.
Yeah.
I'm not sure like how much noise they can make, but they'll need to be like extra.
Like, do you prey on it though? Do you hey, more of our guys have played in a World Cup final than their guys? Do you say that?
Yes.
You know, or do you just go, no, we're lambs to the slaughter? It's going to be great to be the Washington Generals in the crowning of the excellence and the true dawn of the Asian century. There was a pre-dawn or perhaps a false dawn at the Gabba in 2021.
Yeah, and we thought, well, this is it.
That's right.
They're here.
Pax Britannica, etc.
But then they didn't do shit for 2 years.
Exactly. Then it was one step forward, two steps back.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you prey on that, or do you just go, look, lambs to the slaughter? Hey, it's great to be part of it. It's going to be great to get a silver medal. No harm, no shame in being part of this, because really, it's all about India now. It's going to be India will play a better game than they've already played this tournament. You know,
here's the tricky thing.
Just another one of the. Do you wind things up through Western media? Do you start talking pitch stuff? Do you actually ask Cummins to have a look at the coin before it's tossed? Why, in my imagination, can I not conceive of Cummins winning the toss? Why? Because I'm a Western crybaby.
No way that Australia wins the toss.
There's no way.
The toss. They're not going to win the toss.
Is that because you've been spending time crying? Not just crying, but crying more than you previously were.
Yeah.
So what's funny about that phrase, isn't it? Cry more.
Yeah. indicating you've already been crying.
More than you currently are.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Pez, that I think. So, like, if Australia win the World Cup final in India in the circumstances surrounding this one-off game, I think that would be the single greatest ODI victory in the history of Australia's white ball wins. Any of the World Cups, such is the strength of the side and all the pageantry around. Yeah, such is the strength of the Indian side and the pageantry around it and the importance of the game to the nation.
Can you remember a game that meant more to the holistic importance of a nation?
I wasn't paying as much attention in 2011 when India last won the World Cup in India, but I don't sense that it was as important as this game on Sunday night than like right now. Is that what's riding on this game? Well, I think my point being like, so I think that would be the achievement, right? But I think you have to play. You have to go out there and be like, oh, you guys haven't won shit in like 10 years. I think you have to have that posture. But unfortunately, as a fan, we're going to have to watch just an absolute obliteration
bloodbath
of our heroes.
Do you think that Australia realistically is going to eat a mountain of shit in this game?
Yes, I do.
In front of Narendra Modi?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
and Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Beck staying? Imagine eating shit in front of Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
That's some people's fantasy.
Yeah, that's right. But do you think for India that's what's riding on this game? As in, like, Sunday is the moment that India, both off the field and on, truly takes the keys of cricket for infinitum. You know, like, is that, and that the nation knows it. Like, it is the arrival of the nation for whom cricket is the projection of excellence onto the global stage, and that Sunday presents the possibility of finally getting their hands on the ring.
Cometh the nation, cometh my face.
And standing in front of them is Hetty. With the old, is it a doorknob or is it ragging? Now, I want to speculate one thing. Do you think after what we saw last night, we might see a bit of nip in the pitch?
I wouldn't have thought so. I know that Jadeja's going to be man of the match. Put it like that.
So should we fake the posture of geez, a lot of pressure on you blokes? Because here's the thing, mate. Here's the thing to be real, right?
Yeah, let's be real. Not confused with be real.
I just want to say one vulnerable, patriotic thing.
There we go.
No, this is on behalf of Australians. Like,
clip it up.
Australians don't lie down. Australians do not take the silver medal before a game starts.
Australia doesn't eat shit.
It actually is offensive and against the character of the nation to believe that we're turning up to just play the fucking bridesmaid role.
Yeah.
We're the bride in these situations. Like, as a nation. And the boys, even though it's going to be 1.4 billion versus 11, I call it 15. You got Tanvir Sanger and Sabah and the boys there. Yeah. Ronnie
Stoyan,
Mack. Is it? Yeah, Stoyan looking around. They'll be in their hotel rooms going like, mate, bring it on. Deluxe.
That's what they'll think, yeah.
But they do need to check the coin. Only half joking.
Hashtag AskTGC comes in from World Citizen, not WEF. This is on Twitter. I don't know what that means.
I love my life.
At Grey Cricketer, can we have a watch along for India v Oz final, November 19? Come on, boys.
Oh, thanks for putting the date in.
Yeah. When is it?
Yeah.
Hey, babe.
Babe. Where's the hey, babe? Where's the World Cup final? No, not date. Date. November 19. That's babe. You want to answer that or me?
On you go.
To World Citizen, not WEF, we sat down on Monday in this here studio with the team and essentially agreed that Sunday is a
holy day.
Is a holy day. It's the Sabbath.
It's the Sabbath, actually,
which is a day to celebrate Sean Abbott. If you've got a lisp.
We celebrate Sean Abbott on November 19 every Sunday. Every time that day falls on a Sunday. Yeah.
That's the plural of his family, the Sabbers. The Sabbath. No, look,
Also,
we sat down.
Ozzy Osbourne's band.
We can't commemorate and honor this game only by giving you guys a video the next morning. So you need to understand that the game for us starts at 7:30 p.m. Australia time and ends somewhere around 4 a.m. And that's before you have the hour of Australia actually eating shit between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. in front of Narendra Modi, which is going to happen. So we've decided that, yes, we are going to fire up the live stream for the second innings of the match. So that's going to be around 11:30 p.m, midnight our time. We're firing up the live stream. It'll be Higgins and I on the couch. Who knows what other paraphernalia is going to be there for us to get through it. And we are going to be with you ball by ball, second dig, to commentate, bring home the denouement of this entire World Cup. Whatever happens, I suspect high level of viewers if the game's going one way and very low another way. So that will be us. We're going live, baby. Second innings of the World Cup. I hope you understand we are not going to do the whole game. That's literally 8 hours of two people commentating.
If you have enjoyed TGC's coverage of the World Cup and if you want to get around our live stream, click subscribe and hit like on this video, and we'll see you guys on Sunday night.